war in Israel, day 637. It is 4th of July today, so I will begin by saying happy 4th of July to all of you in America celebrating today. Just want to report here that the war is not over. It is continuing here very intensely, I have to say, in Gaza, more maybe than ever. Tragically, Israeli soldiers are dying almost daily in the heavy battles taking place in Gaza. So we need to continue to pray for that situation. Also, the Iranian proxies in Yemen, the Houthi rebels, have sent in missiles towards Israel twice this week. So it is not calm yet. But the main thing is, of course, that the whole nation now here in Israel, is holding their breath because of the visit of Prime Minister Netanyahu to the White House to meet with President Trump next week. We know that President Trump is very eager to end the war in Gaza and to establish a ceasefire. A proposal from Qatar and Egypt has been agreed upon by Prime Minister Netanyahu, at least in principle, and they expect a definite answer from Hamas later today. Hamas indicated earlier today that they are positive after they consulted with their patrons in Turkey and Qatar and so forth, that they are positive and they will give an answer later today, Israeli time. So now it is very, very important that we cover this thing in prayer. What it looks like is that, as I said, President Trump will force a ceasefire on the two parties, and it will be a ceasefire for 60 days, where altogether 10 of the remaining approximately 20 hostages who are alive in Gaza will be released. So it will not be a complete freedom for all of the living hostages in Gaza. It is not an ideal situation, but at this time it might be the only way to secure at least some of the hostages from Gaza. So pray, friends. This is a very, very intense time. It's a historic time. One thing that is very remarkable, I would like to say, is that not this coming Sunday now immediately, but the following Sunday, July 13, is the beginning of the very difficult time period on the biblical calendar called the time between dire straits. This is when so many calamities have happened for the Jewish people throughout history. The first of them being actually that on the first day of this period, which is covering the time between the fasts of the 4th and the 5th month mentioned in the book of Zechariah. And the fast in the 4th month that initiates this difficult time period is in memory of, or it is on the day that Israel worshipped the golden calf at Mount Sinai. So this is very remarkable because we know that President Trump, foremost, is a businessman, and he is interested in peace now in the Middle East, primarily because of financial reasons. He wants there to be a bridge between East and West going through Saudi Arabia and Israel, making this a hub that will be very financially prosperous. And that is also something that Prime Minister Netanyahu is very interested in, as well as actually Saudi Arabia. So it might be that President Trump will succeed in bringing about an extension of the Abraham Accords like it was planned from the beginning. However, if that is going to be done at the cost of what is God's plan for the land of Israel, that is going to be very, very serious. The question is, will the worship of the golden calf take precedence right now in these negotiations instead of what is the fear of God and what is righteous because of the land of Israel that is God's own land. So it is time for us, friends, to really cover this in prayer. And I want to read a few scriptures here. The first one is from Psalm 33, from verse 10, from verse 8 actually. Let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. And that is what we need to pray now for this meeting between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu. For he spoke and it came to be. He commanded and it stood firm. The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. In the end, they will fail, all of them. But it says, he frustrates the plans of the peoples, but the counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. So we will continue to pray also according to Proverbs chapter 21, where it says that the heart of the king is in the Lord's hand like water courses, or like streams of water. He turns it wherever he will. And then in verse 30, no wisdom, no understanding, no counsel can avail against the Lord. So if these plans that are not going to be made in the White House next week are not in line with God's will for his land, they will fail. And we know what it says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, when people say peace and safety, then sudden destruction will come. So we better pray that God is going to have his way in this meeting next week in the White House. So I also want to say that this is something that we need to pray according to what it says in the Bible regarding the land of Israel, that it must not be divided ever. If God will speak anything while you're praying, please let us know. Contact us. We want to hear what the Lord is saying. We want to keep our places on the walls of Jerusalem as watchmen during this time. So thank you for standing with us in prayer, and may God richly bless you as you seek his face during this very, very important time. Shalom from Israel.